Invasion 1 is a very interesting map. It takes place in your home castle, with invaders coming in from the sides, meaning you're in control of the layout and can place your units in advantageous positions or block the enemies in their tracks. Because there are so few enemies, it's easy to complete, but it can be difficult to reach all your support goals. I'll have to get a little crafty to do so, as it's not just Nyx and Mozu that I want to gain support with each other. This is also the first map where I'm deploying Haitaka, the boss we captured back in Chapter 9. He has good stats, but he doesn't see combat at all this clear. The main benefit of Haitaka is that he joins with Rally Defense, which gives +4 defense to units within 2 spaces. After capturing him, he gets sent to your prison, where you can either recruit him instantly by bribing him with my castle resources, or wait some real-life time and try repeatedly persuading him to your side. If you don't have access to him, Elise can accomplish similar tasks with her personal skill. But in this clear, I need Haitaka for his bulk, so he can body block without getting targeted by the enemies. On the right side are a group of wyverns, one of the few times you actually fight them in Conquest. One strategy to deal with them is to use your 3 bow users to fight them all on player face. That's a good plan, especially if you want Nyx to support Niles, a popular choice for her husband because of what it enables for their daughter. It's not hard to pull off either, because Nyx 1-rounds every wyvern on the map with perfect accuracy thanks to the bonuses your buildings provide. But I have another unit in mind for Nyx's spouse, so I'll be using a different strategy to deal with them. Sadly, because of this, Nyx herself is not a focal point of this clear. But she helps her team by providing accurate dual strikes, especially with effective damage against the wyverns, and by applying Heartseeker where necessary. Those aren't meaningless contributions by any means, and the effective damage serves as a demo for how Nyx shines in certain other early game chapters. In spite of a few points where I was worried random enemy movement would cause an issue, based on all my testing, this seems to be a 100% consistent clear. That includes the hit rates. At no point will one of my units see a 99% hit rate or below. That means we can begin the map without fear, so let's do that. Of the 2 cavaliers that are still alive, the bottom one will attack Jacob, but the top one has special AI that prioritizes seizing the throne, and so will ignore him. I've arranged the mine in the prison in such a way that he should always move to the exact same tile in pursuit of it. Odin and Nyx will fight the wyverns on enemy phase. The indestructible smithy ensures none of the wyverns can reach Nyx, and the maneuver itself is made possible by choosing a Norian-style castle as opposed to Javoy or Destria. As you might have guessed, Odin is my chosen spouse for Nyx this playthrough. They saw enough combat in the last 2 chapters to earn their C support, and now they'll be gaining even more support points together. But hold on, didn't I already say I'm not planning on using any vantage strategies with Nyx? While that's true, I still think the Nyx-Odin pairing is a valuable one. For one, Nyx and Odin have great synergy together. Odin's Heartseeker can help Nyx's hit rates, and Nyx's Malefic Aura can improve Odin's damage output until he learns it himself. Plus, Odin really appreciates Nyx's speed, magic, and movement power while she's in the Outlaw class line. Nyx is also a great mother for Odin's child, Ophelia. Compared to Elise, another popular parent for her, Nyx's stat inheritance is basically identical, albeit with ever so slightly less magic. But Nyx more than makes up for that in the skills she can pass down. Move +1, Lucky 7, and Quick Draw are all very valuable skills from her preferred class lines. Lucky 7 is my favorite of these, as it offsets Nyx's poor skill inheritance and allows Ophelia to become extremely reliable. This is especially useful in tandem with the Vantage Life and Death build, which I've already said I'm not too fond of, but is a very popular strategy with Ophelia, as normally, missing an attack is a death sentence for such a build. Her biggest competitor, Elise again, usually passes down Lunge or Savage Blow, which are useful in their own right, but not quite as good as what Nyx has to offer. Ophelia's Paralog is best completed early because the rewards from it are invaluable, so it's extremely unlikely Elise will have Trample to pass down by that time. Effie, Arthur, and Hitaka wait at the edge of the paired-up mercenaries' range in an attempt to keep their movements consistent. I'm not actually sure if this does anything. The invaders' AI is a little bizarre in that they tend to prioritize going towards your buildings to destroy them, sometimes even moving farther away from your units to do so. That said, I don't have anything else for these 3 units to do this turn, so I do this anyway just to be safe. Odin's doing pretty well for himself against these wyverns. Though Dark Mage Nyx might be able to one-shot the paired-up one with less trouble, Odin still generally performs better when you consider that he doesn't need any defense support to survive. Against other enemy types, Odin's dodge and accuracy will be better too. So you might be asking yourself, why use Nyx when Odin exists? I think that's entirely the wrong question to ask. Odin and Nyx fill completely different roles. One is a low investment enemy phase unit with good bulk and accuracy, but tends to kill things in multiple rounds of combat, while the other is a medium investment player phase unit that one rounds and has access to strong mobility and hit stacking options. It's like asking why use Baruka when Camilla exists? Or perhaps more aptly, why use Laszlo when Selena exists? They're both mercenaries, but one is a combat unit and the other is a support unit, and they work better together than apart. It's similar for Odin and Nyx. The reason units like Kaze are so good in this game is that Conquest allows you to stick to your niche, and doesn't punish you for being a specialist rather than a generalist. Of course, Nyx will always look bad if you try to stick her in the generalist Odin's role, because that's not what she's good at. If you let her do what she was designed for, she'll be amazing. Therefore, the correct answer to should I use Odin or Nyx is both. Both is good. Next turn, we want to break the staff sword to give our units freer range of movement. Odin starts that process now. With the unforged bronze bow, mostly lets Nyx kill with a dual strike. If Jacob attacked here, we could kill the Cavalier this turn, but then he wouldn't get enough support points with Silas to reach the A support, which is the goal I'm pursuing this playthrough. So he just waits for now. Effie doesn't have enough movement to keep running away from these mercenaries, so she opts to kill them instead. The Killing Edge one can't damage her, so he'll switch to the Steel Sword one on enemy phase. By killing this mercenary now, we never have to worry about the Killing Edge's crit chance. Odin's in serious danger right now, so Hitaka rallies to improve his defense. This one maneuver is the whole reason we brought him to this chapter. The enemy still see a kill on Odin right now though. The boss hits for 11 times 2, and the Mook hits for 6, which is more than his total HP. The boss moves first, so he will attack Odin, but Odin will heal himself with Nosferatu, so the Mook no longer sees a kill, and will instead choose to destroy the private quarters. The prison getting demolished doesn't matter. Each building destroyed on this map only results in the loss of a fraction of a Dragon Vein point. You'll have plenty of DVP to spare throughout the campaign if you spend it efficiently, so this loss doesn't affect us at all. From my understanding, the invaders on this map prefer to move as little as possible to destroy your buildings. Because of this, the Cavaliers stayed in Jacob's range, making him easy to take down. This AI quirk will come up again shortly. By pairing up, Corrin increases Silas's effective movement range by 1. This is crucial to let him reach a specific tile next turn. Boss conveniently lunges himself off of the forest and into Nyx's Heartseeker range. Once again, the enemy has chosen to move as little as possible to destroy the closest building. That's actually good for us. The private quarters were giving us a +3 attack buff, and with them destroyed, we're slightly weaker this turn, which allows us to squeeze in a few more support points between Nyx and Mozu. The goddess icon grants +4 luck to whichever unit we give it to. If you're planning to use Nyx on enemy phase, she's often a good recipient of it to increase her hit and dodge rates. By dodge I mean crit avoid, not regular avoid. You get multiple in the early game, so you can usually spare one for her, but she doesn't tend to mind if you give them to other candidates like Arthur or Kaze instead. I'm making an effort to keep this team as typical as possible, so I won't be using any stat boosters myself. Effie's strength stat needs to be very specific here so we can one-shot with a javelin, but not a bronze lance. To accomplish this, I've cooked a +1 strength boosting meal for her. To avoid getting any other unwanted buffs, you can demolish and then rebuild the mess hall to ensure you get a generic chef and guarantee a basic meal. With one last shelter singing maneuver, Mozu went to the map with Nyx's support in only 4 turns. Next map is the famous Chapter 10, where we're finally redeploying Niles, and steamrolling Takumi with 3 bow users. Nyx makes some major contributions too. Stay tuned.